everyone, and welcome back to Oxventure Presents Blades in the Dark. I'm Luke, and I'm joined by...
Go after you, sir.
Well, I'm Barnaby Fortescue, the third, also known as Ha! The Butcher. Not Ha! The Butcher, just the Butcher.
Ha! The Butcher, we have...
I am Lilith Capellanaga, and I'm a academic sort, and I'm trying to find my way in this weird world.
In this weird world of Volisport. Well,
I could help you with that. You should get a job.
Cool. That's sort of why we're here, isn't it?
Barnaby, you are not one to be telling people to get a job, I don't think.
Well, you know, it's not for me. I found out a long time ago
hands.
that it's not for me. It's just not for me. The world of work, not for me.
We join Lilith and Barnaby today in the back room of Eleanor's largely legal antiques. It is a couple of days after your last criminal escapade. A thrill has gone through the criminal community. A new gang on the scene. Word has spread of your daring exploits because you paid back a fortune overnight. It's a minor miracle, and word has got out.
You call it a fortune, but it really wouldn't make a dent compared to the annual take of my estate. Just wanted to clarify.
Why are you here again?
Why are any of us here? Philosophical question. You're the academic. Work it out.
Money. I need money.
So we're in the back room. Barnaby is just going over the finer points of exactly how the finance of his estate works, exactly what he's kind of pulling in and pushing out on the stables, on the orangery, all that kind of stuff. You are the only ones at the moment in the back room, and that's because everyone else is out researching scores, making contacts, etc. You are sort of poring over the documents and stuff that was left by the previous criminal gang who vacated this area. And Barnaby, I suppose, maybe the others said, be lookout, guarding is an important job.
Sure, yeah.
I was like, you just go do that.
Right, can do.
And he's guarding up an absolute storm. So well, in fact, that your ears prick up, Barnaby, at a subtle knock on the front door of the shop, and a voice calls, "Delivery!"
Can someone get that?
Barnaby, I've kind of got my hands full of all these documents. Could you go and get that?
I don't answer my own door.
This isn't your door.
Fine. I go and answer the door.
There is a mailman at the door. He gets you to sign for a small package. It's a little envelope, and leaves you with that envelope. When you open it, it contains a small silver charm of an unusual and organic-shaped, twisty little anchor. It's a little anchor charm. And there is a note with it that says, "Can you bring me the real thing? I have a buyer. Details enclosed. 50% to your little gang, if so. P.S. Nice work with that lampblack's business. Signed, Eleanor."
Fair enough. I'm going to bring it over to Lilith and see what Lilith thinks.
Lilith, the sight of this charm sets a bell ringing for you, because as you may recall, some of the sort of plan in progress documents from the previous gang who occupied this space before you all, and before Bilkins died, was something to do with a ship. And actually, you seem to remember a drawing of an anchor.
Okay. Well, I rifle through the documents again, and I try to re-find that picture of an anchor and look at it next to the charm that we've been sent.
I recline into a comfortable chair, absolutely exhausted by the day's work.
Yeah. You punch out, Barnaby. You've no one can say you haven't pulled your weight today.
I had to shut the door as well,
Open it, shut it. Honestly, if it's not one thing, then it's another. It's not hard for you, Lilith, to re-find those documents. The anchor is a sketch of the anchor of a ship that has, for a few days now, been sort of moored in the docks a little way off the coast. These are the details. Having gone through these sort of plans and stuff, you have a bit of a better idea. The ship is a converted whaling ship owned by Darnell Ironhook, who is the CEO of the Tripot whaling firm. They are Leviathan hunters, and Darnell Ironhook is hosting a 4-day party on his ship to celebrate bringing in a huge haul of sweet Leviathan blood and oil recently. The ship is, a converted Leviathan, so it's kind of mid-sized, made of iron. Think of like a luxury pleasure cruiser, but made of sort of very thick, kind of brutal iron. It is said, however, that the anchor is something a little finer, and that in a show of extravagance, Ironhook has had it studded with real Leviathan teeth, which are extremely rare and valuable, making this anchor a real showpiece. And that is what you know.
A party sounds good. I hope there aren't any of those roughnecks around, whalers and fishermen and stuff. Hopefully it's just the higher class.
I'm guessing that, does Eleanor just want the anchor?
Presumably, yeah.
Ah, just because of the Leviathan teeth, I know that they can, catch a, cost a pretty penny.
Sure.
So
it's going to be rather heavy, though, isn't it?
yeah, how in the heckins are we? There's only 2 of us as well. We could barely get it with all of us here. Look, you're good at, brushing elbows.
Everything. Everything. You're too kind.
Everything when it comes to chatting to people and blagging your way into things.
Sure.
So if we go to this party and perhaps I'm your assistant, I hate having to say that, but I'm not going to be as well known, so I'll take it on the chin.
Fair enough.
Okay, this is sounding like a heist coming together, and before we are tempted to do any more planning, I think we should plunge us straight into the action. So, of the types of scores, let me just remind you of those. It's sounding, to be honest, like this is a social situation if you are going sort of as Barnaby the aristocrat plus assistant. A social score is negotiate, bargain, or persuade, and the detail I need is the social connection.
This Ironhook fella, is he extremely wealthy? I mean, presumably this is good business and things.
Yeah, you've heard of Darnell Ironhook. He is extremely wealthy. He's what, Barnaby, you and your peers would refer to as new money.
New money,
because rather than inheriting, he has made his fortune as a Leviathan hunter.
Would he be aware of me, do you think?
Unlikely. But possibly.
Well, perhaps
you move in the right sort of circles.
Perhaps it's a somewhat business meeting, but in a social setting. I suggest that perhaps there might be some sort of business arrangement we could come to allow him to expand further into the world of whaling.
Yeah, that's fine. I tell you what, let's not roll for that. Let's just say that the social connection is Darnell Ironhook himself.
Yes.
We're setting up. Barnaby we're approaching as about a sort of prospective business tie-up.
Yes. And presumably, given the timing, he would probably find it easier to discuss it over a drink, perhaps.
I think that would be more than enough to secure you an invite to the party on board. Load. What's everyone taking to this ship?
I will be going light again.
Light.
I always travel light.
I love it.
I'm going to go. I'll go normal.
Okay. Make a note of how much that lets you carry, or it's written on your character sheets. I think it's there. 5.
Mm-hmm. And
5,
3 for me.
Cool. Okay. Time to make the engagement roll then. And we'll get you straight to the party. 1D for sheer luck. There it is.
Okay.
Is the plan particularly bold or daring? Yeah, of course. Does it expose a vulnerability or hit them where they're weakest? No. Can any friends or contacts can any friends or contacts provide aid?
Seems unlikely on my side. I don't think even Squiffy knows him. And he knows
really?
everyone.
Not even Squiffy?
Wow.
No.
Okay, alright. Well, in that case, I will roll these dice around for drama. Are you getting that? Are you getting the drama and the foley?
Such
Yeah.
drama.
Good. Okay, here we go. Ooh, okay. Right, that is I rolled a 4 and a 2, so we take the highest result, which is 4, which is a success with a complication. So let's say it's early evening that you arrive at this. You are pulled up to along the sort of back of the boat. There's like a kind of stepped area that goes down to the water. You can see the ship is illuminated by electric lighting. That you can hear the sounds of a party in full swing. You can hear a string quartet, making sure that the vibe stays classy. And as you approach, you can start to see kind of above you now, like on the nearest deck, thronging crowds of revelers. This is the 4th day that the party's been going, and as you look around, you can see that some people are very much worse for wear. They have not stopped. Some people have just arrived. It is a proper rave up. This Darnell knows how to throw a party. And as you step off of the launch on which you have been pulled over from the docks, you are met by a valet who says, "Hello, may I have your invitations, please?"
I assume we have one invitation, probably. Do we? Or...
Yeah, you have one invitation. And this is... He looks at you, Lilith.
This is my assistant. I don't travel anywhere without her, so I would very much appreciate if you would allow her in as well. Thank you.
That's absolutely no problem, but madam, may I take your things?
What things?
Well, presumably you don't want to be going about the party with that large coat, and it looks like you've got a bag there. May I take them to the cloakroom for you?
I will.
I believe it'll be getting quite cold on deck, and we anticipate spending quite a lot of time outside, so I think we'll keep our coats with us.
Yeah, you may take my bag. I need to keep my coat on. It's part of the ensemble.
Very fashionable assistant. Ideas above her station, you know how it is.
I understand the ensemble must come first, madam. There's absolutely no problem. He takes your bag away. Lilith, mark off. You now have light load. Mm-hmm. And someone else kind of hurries up with a tray with fizz on it. And you are ushered up.
Take a glass. Of course I take a glass.
Take a glass. Lilith, you taking a glass as well?
Yeah. But I'm kind of pretending to sip. I'm like,
Okay, cool. All right, so you're staying clear-headed. I love it. Right, and you are taken up to the sort of rear deck of this ship. In front of you, in the centre, there is a large buffet. It is sort of piled high with like, lobsters and exotic fruits. There's a champagne fountain, and a chocolate fountain, and all the fanciest fountains.
cheese fountain.
Oh, there's a cheese fountain.
Fondue fountain.
Darnell has a team of cheese engineers working on the cheese fountain technology, and what you're seeing is an early prototype. It does indeed appear to be sort of cycling liquid cheese through its system, but occasionally it sort of sputters and molten cheese kind of sort of spits out. And an engineer rushes over with a screwdriver and makes some adjustments.
I'm imagining cheese whiz. I'm imagining what these artisanal cheese experts have invented.
Yes,
cheese whiz.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think we can all agree that's what cheese is heading to in every possible fictional universe. And you are now, you're up on this top deck. The party is thronging. The place is packed.
Can I scan the room and see if Darnell is around at all?
Yeah. So tell me what kind of roll you'll be making to do that, and roll it.
Survey, and I have 1 dot in survey.
If you've got 1 dot, roll me 1d6.
Okay.
Unless you want to push yourself and take some stress, or...
I mean, I'm looking around a room, it barely seems worth it, doesn't it, really?
Sure.
If I fail, I will fail to look around a room.
Sure.
I got a 3.
Okay.
Cool. Does one of my eyeballs fall out?
You look around the room, and you can't see Darnell Ironhook. You know by reputation that he's quite a sort of large, very tall, broad, barrel-chested figure, and you cannot spot him at all, which is odd. You turn around to Lilith to explain that you don't see him there, and actually spin round into Darnell, spilling your champagne flute all down his cravat.
Terribly sorry, old boy. I'll buy you a new one of those.
The bloody hell is this? Who are you?
Barnaby, Fortescue the third. Yes, we arranged to have a drink at some point during this party, but I thought I'd introduce myself first. You know, we don't want to talk business straight away. Although, it appears you've been partying for quite a few days.
He sort of looks you up and down. He looks at his sort of stained cravat and goes, "Barnaby, is it a pleasure to make your acquaintance?" And he goes for a big, meaty handshake.
Mine is limp in comparison.
Okay. You see from his eyes that he notices, that he plots it, he files it away, but he says nothing. "I don't believe I've had the pleasure, and I'll be quite honest, I wasn't apprised of any sort of meeting. Roger!" A sort of small man sort of scurries up to Darnell's side. "Roger! Am I meeting any Barnaby tonight?" And Roger says, yes, actually, I didn't. It was a late request. I didn't have much time to run it by you, sir. But there was a Barnaby Fortescue.
Correct. Yes.
Yes, who wished to raise the possibility of some kind of business arrangement, though Mr. Fortescue declined to give the details. But at this point, Darnell is tired of Roger, and he sort of like pushes him away. "Have a drink, Roger. Relax, for God's sake. So, you wish to discuss some sort of business, is that right?"
Yes. I was very fascinated by your expansion into whaling and your success so far. I was wondering what we might do to help push that forward and enable you to really fulfill your potential. Yeah.
"I'm gonna need something a little bit more specific, Mr. Fortescue."
What, like money? Yes, lots of money. Yeah.
Well, in what way exactly are you planning to forward my ventures?
I mean, for a small stake in your business, we'd be happy to put up some funds to allow you to expand, perhaps an entire fleet. I mean, your ship is fabulous, and I was very, very impressed by the anchor. I mean, what's the story behind that?
Oh, well, when I started in this business, I was hunting for small fry in Leviathan stakes. I came up the hard way, Mr. Barnaby. It took me a long time to earn enough to buy my first boat and hire a small crew. I went out myself. I put the harpoon in the very first beast, and I pulled one of its teeth out as a keepsake, and I did that for every whale that I captured for the first, it must have been there were 2 years. Hard years they were, Mr. Fortescue, hard years indeed, but rewarding. I keep these teeth in the anchor. Some say it's a bit showy, but for me it's a reminder of the meaning of graft. As he says that last bit, he sort of gives you a significant look, and you just get the impression that he's unfiling the limp handshake.
I had to open my own door today as well, yeah. So I know where you're coming from. Listen, I mean, it's showy, fine. I'm absolutely fine with showy. Look, I mean, I had to buy this coat, this CAD Lumiere, threw my last one out the window. I had to buy a new one. Awful business. Anyway,
sounds like a rotter.
Yeah, real rotter.
A rum sort.
Do you not get nervous with something as presumably valuable as that just hanging off the side of your ship?
Well, not right now, Mr. Fortescue, because right now it's in the safest place it can be, the bottom of the ocean.
I see. Good place, but you can't keep it there all the time. I suppose when you're on the move, it must be. Yeah, interesting. You must have some sort of security measure, though. I mean, it can't be at the bottom of the ocean all the time.
This ship is manned by my personal crew from the old days, and well, they're good lads. They like a drink and they know what they're about, if you get my meaning.
Yes.
You don't especially get his meaning, but you do, Lilith. You know that he's basically letting you know that this ship is sort of staffed by rough whaling sorts. I figured if anyone ever had the audacity to come after one of my prized possessions, well, you know, they man the ship, they keep watch. I think it would be all right. But as I say, at the moment, my most precious possession is at the bottom of Davy Jones's locker, so not too worried.
Fair. Fair. I like a man with a plan. Yes. Well, anyway, I mean, lovely introduction. Let me have my people draw up some proposals for you, and we'll take it from there.
All right. I believe there was a mention of money.
Yes, rather a lot. Yes. But we'll work out the finer details. But we have unlimited resources almost.
Unlimited resources. I've heard of the Fortescue name. You're a wealthy bunch.
Yeah, my uncle was in the Navy. He was an admiral. Not sure he ever actually set foot on a ship. I think it was more of a sort of honorary title. But, seaman. Yes. No, wait.
I believe a few of my men fought under him.
Right.
They didn't all make it back intact.
Well, that's war, isn't it?
Doesn't have to be, Mr. Fortescue. Doesn't have to be.
I don't actually know enough about war to work out whether that's true or not.
But these are the times of plenty. The fat of the land.
Yes.
Please enjoy the party, and we will talk business anon. And he sort of whoosh, circulates off, turns his back to you, and is immediately lost in a throng, laughing and cheering amidst the crowds.
So Lilith, what do you think?
It's okay. So right, it's at the bottom of the sea.
Yes.
The ship is run by pretty rough, tough guys who we will not be able to fight our way past at all. So we have to be really smart about this.
Good job you've got me.
Yeah, I would like to go and have a look around the ship, and
from the outside or from the inside?
Like just all around, and keep hold of your champagne glass, because if they find us, we're just party revelers who have got lost.
No fear.
Okay.
I might grab another one just in case, back up.
You know what? Actually, that might be a good idea. Go on.
I now have 2 champagne glasses.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, Lilith. How are you rolling for that? For this ship-wide investigation.
I would like to study, have a look around, look at various things on the walls, look for signage, and try and get an idea of where everything is. And I have 2 dots in study as well, which is fine. So
just as well.
Okay, I got a 1 and a 4. So
Okay.
4.
You conduct this the champagne glasses are the perfect passport to exploring every single room of a party. The deck that you were starting on, there is a higher deck, sort of upwards of that. There's a staircase that leads up to it. It's kind of like a sort of long, narrow sun deck along the top of the ship. That's full of more revelers, more people partying. From where you started, if you don't go up but instead go forward, you kind of go into the interior of the ship. Inside there is a lounge with a billiard table. Again, there's people having a rare old time. On the back of that room, there are double doors, which occasionally serving staff are coming out of with sort of trays of canapes and trays of drinks. You manage to slip through those doors to have a scout around. You get through the other side of some kitchens and find yourself in a sort of stairwell. Ahead of you, there's a door that is marked navigation. There's also a stairwell that goes down, and the sort of the sign pointing down there says boiler room, and then lists of a load of maybe like half a dozen other kind of rooms, which are all naval terms that you don't understand or haven't heard before. As you are looking around at this, one of the serving staff sort of taps you, Lilith, on the shoulder and says, "Excuse me, madam, you must be lost. Can I see you back to the party?"
Oh, I'm dreadfully sorry. Where are we right now?
Oh, well, you're aboard the De Biana.
Yeah, but... I'm just trying to find the bathrooms, actually.
Yes, you can't expect us just to wee over the side, can you?
Some guests have been, sir. As I say, it's been quite the party. This man looks exhausted.
Are you okay, sir? When was the last time you guys got a break?
The last time I had a break. What's today?
Oh,
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So
Okay.
it must have been, Tuesday, I think. Last Tuesday. Yes, 2 days of setup, then the party began. Yes.
Do you know that you're legally allowed, to have breaks and like you have been sleeping, right?
Tell me more about this legally allowed.
Yeah, no, you should legally be given breaks by your employer so that you can rest and recuperate before your next shift. Have you heard of these things called shifts? So where like the staff swaps
Things
in
you
and
wear.
out.
I'm wearing a shift.
No. This
Under
is
all this? No?
yes, it's a different kind of shift. It's
Oh.
because the employees, you shift out of work basically.
Out of work?
Yeah.
So
and
one
then,
would stop working.
Yes, someone stops working, and what happens is another person comes in and takes over. So you swap, you shift places.
How do you know all
Okay.
this?
I'll confess, all this stuff about employee rights is news to me as well.
Well, exactly, sir. I've not heard of it. Not heard of anything of the like. So, I mean, you're not from Volisport, are you, madam?
No, that is very true. I've recently moved here, but basically we found that by doing shifts, people didn't die by the time they were 20. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is something that I will definitely be having a word with the catering management about because
Have you guys?
Well, I
here-
tell you what, show us to the toilet, the privy, and then take a load off. Have a break. Who's going to
Yeah, have you-
notice? Everyone's absolutely trolleyed.
Yeah, have you guys heard of weekends?
Well, I mean, those too weak to work do tend to end. If that's what you mean, madam.
No. It's like a bookend to the week, where like you have a break. Everyone has a break. Some people still work, but they have different days off instead. So you have a rest.
My word. Well, how about that?
Have you heard of these things called unions?
Let's montage the rest of this conversation. By the end of which, safe to say, this waiter is holding his head. You've blown his mind. He's both inspired and furious. Where do you want to take this conversation now?
And I'm like, you should
know.
ask some of your colleagues. Your fellow serving staff.
Bit of solidarity,
Yeah, I think you should all talk to one another. Because, I mean, if this party's been going on for a week and you've been having to deal with drug people for a week, I mean, I'm his assistant. I'm finding it hard enough just doing it for today, to be honest.
It does look like a chore, madam. A terrible chore.
Oh my goodness.
An awful trial.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Hang
believe
the
on.
worst enemy.
Shut up, Barnaby.
Now hold on.
I'm determined to spread the word of this. I've got to see if anyone else has heard of these intriguing ideas. You wanted the bathroom. Look, you're smart. I trust you can find it yourselves. There's one in the captain's room in navigation. I'm sorry. I have to go and I have to talk about this. And he leaves you. He goes back the way that you've just come from, back into the kitchens. And as the sort of doors to the kitchens swing shut, with a sort of puff of steam coming out, you can hear him go like, "Has anybody heard of a weekend?"
Okay, that was
yeah, so
brilliant,
you're now alone.
Lilith.
Thank
But
you.
I'm never introducing you to my butler. Okay, just
Fair enough. Okay. Right, so I think we head up to the captain's quarters. We go to navigation and to the captain's quarters
sure.
to find the bathroom.
Have a snoop around. Yeah, like it.
The bathroom.
No, I have sunk these 2 glasses of champagne, and now I do actually need the bathroom. So.
Yeah, you head up into the room marked navigation. There is a man who wearing a captain's hat in there. He sat in front of a sort of ship's wheel and a bunch of levers and sort of ropes and not like rigging and stuff. It's a steam powered vessel, but he pulls on those to kind of call, relay messages, hoot the horn.
Toot.
Yeah, exactly. communicate with other parts of the ship, that kind of thing. Yeah, there are like speaking trumpets, kind of row of speaking trumpets for talking to the other areas of the ship. But he's fast asleep, and on like by his sort of outstretched hand on the floor, there's like an empty pint glass, and he's sort of snoring soundly. Also in this room, there's a sort of wooden hatch cut into one wall, and in very ornate marked, it says WC, and then underneath, someone else has written "Captain's use only," probably the captain.
Well, I'm desperate, so I'm going to go and use it.
Cool.
Do I have to roll for this?
Let's say you have to roll if you want to do it without waking the captain up, but if you're not worried about waking him up, then then it's fine.
I'll try, but I'm not that worried about it. So,
okay.
What kind of roll would this be?
So you're prowling into a toilet. Prowl probably.
I have no dots in prowl whatsoever. I'm more the sort of loud.
You can push yourself, although I don't always recommend it on the toilet.
I'll give myself a hernia.
Yeah.
Is it just a case of making sure that the door is open? So what if I prowl to open the door quietly, Barnaby goes in, and I quietly close it behind him? Is that...
It depends how loudly I do my business. I really don't want it. I've made far more of this than I actually intended to.
Someone roll me dice to see if the captain wakes up when you
I
go to the toilet.
I will push myself on my own
to
roll a single dice. Oh, and it's a 6, so there you go.
Fantastic, yeah.
A very quiet wee.
I just watch him go, like, silently go into the door, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, Lilith, you look at Barnaby and think maybe this chap has a little bit more sneaky stealth potential than you at first assumed. Barnaby, you're now in the bathroom.
Feeling a lot better.
It's
Thank
textbook.
you.
It's all everything goes well. So here you are back. Presumably you can leave the bathroom if you want. You're in the room, sleepy captain.
Should we have a look around?
Yeah,
Place?
I have a look around, like to see where the anchor button is, basically, like the lever to pull up the anchor is.
Make me a roll for that, Lilith.
Okay, so
this is make me another roll. To be honest, this is another stealth roll. You're not going to have any trouble investigating, but again, this is how well are you doing this while the captain continues slumbering.
Okay, I've got 1 in finesse and 1 in prowl, so I'll go for prowl. 2.
Okay. You sort of look over the control console that's sort of in front of the captain. It's all kind of like brass sort of knobs and pulleys and stuff. You can see that along this there is one lever that is marked anchor, and it's currently set to the down position. And as you spot it and spin around in excitement to tell Barnaby about it, you nudge the captain's leg, and he sort of shouts away and goes, "Ah! I'm up! Ah! Intruders!" And he lunges for he lunges for one of the speaking trumpets that is marked General Alarm.
Hold on a minute there. Sorry, we're allowed to be here. One of your chaps, can't remember his name, said we could come and have a look around. I'm considering potentially buying a stake in this shipping company. So I just wanted to check everything's in order over here. Are you the captain? Are you the captain of this vessel?
Yes, I'm the captain of this ship. Stay back, all 4 of you.
And do you tend to sleep on the job? I just need to protect my investment.
I wasn't sleeping, and you can't prove that I was. You.
Okay, well maybe we'll keep it our little secret, eh?
He's sick a little bit.
So tell me about this vessel. What's she like?
Make me a roll to see how.
Convincing.
For this our little secret.
Sway, presumably that would be. Yeah. 2 dice. That's a 5 and a 1.
You swear you won't tell?
Of course not.
I am a good captain. It's just.
It is a party. Yeah. And
when the ship's stationary, what's the
yeah.
point? Am I not entitled to a little beverage?
or several little beverages, or large beverages. Who am I to tell you how to live your life?
Yes.
Listen, I'm a somewhat of a seafaring enthusiast. This doesn't look like a traditional setup for the ship. Could you talk me through the controls? I'm fascinated, obviously. I really admire what you guys do.
Oh, well, this it's a fascinating renovation, to be honest. He talked you through slurringly in quite exhaustive, slightly too exhaustive detail, how this whaling ship was retrofitted to be turned into a sort of pleasure cruiser. You wouldn't say it's interesting, but it's certainly in depth. He wraps up by saying, and so, as you see, where once these would call to all the different parts of the whaling ship, they now call to the different parts of the services. You've got catering there, and the cleaning staff as well. They're on another one of these trumpets, and down here there's the boiler room, which obviously has the engines and the anchor housing and the all the other things. It's a very sophisticated setup.
So, I mean, to choose a random example, if you were to raise the anchor, would you do that from here, or would you speak to someone through the trumpets?
Well, as the captain, I suppose it would be my choice. When I pull this lever, a signal light goes on in the boiler room, and the gents down there turn the thingy, and the anchor comes up. But I dare say, though they are obedient lads for the most part, you see, if I was to signal for it to be raised now, they would probably have some questions. I don't know that they would actually raise it, because
Interesting.
we are at a party. Have you got anything to drink?
Well, always. How about a nip from my little flask that I keep with me?
Oh yes, go on.
Obviously, one of the things I have with me on my light load is a drinking flask.
Yep. Mark
Full of fine whiskey.
Mark that off your light load. Yeah, he takes a slug of it. Well, I hope you appreciated this tour, but really it would not look good, because you're supposed to be in the party, and if anyone was to find us here, so
You're right.
must. I think I must ask you to leave, or.
It's an absolute pleasure. Lovely speaking to you, and I hope to be doing business with you in future.
Yeah. Did you want the anchor raised? I'll raise it. I'll press any button you want.
I think for the moment we're
You want me to press the button? You want me to see what happens when the boat goes to port?
Yeah!
Way! He says, and he spins the wheel around. Obviously, the ship doesn't really have much headway on it because it's stationary, but you do feel it sort of just tilt
slightly
a little bit, and he goes, "Hey, port! Is there rice beans? Does anyone have any port?" And he strides towards the door. He's like, "I'm gonna get a drink. I'll be back. Don't touch the boat." And he's off.
Right. Okay. Here's the thing. We need to know a little bit more about the mechanism of the anchor and whether there's a weak spot, because
Yeah,
we're not
we
going
need to break
we're not
it
going to be able to
off.
cut through the chain. Obviously, it's far too thick. So we need to work out if there's a weak point in the mechanism that we can take advantage of.
Yeah, so do you reckon we should go down to the boiler room
Eventually, yes.
eventually?
But I suspect, probably, I would call a flashback, and that we would have probably attempted to chat to one of the... I suspect what I would have done is... there must be a local pub, and I suspect there was a little bit of pre-game going on before the party with some of the ship's crew.
There was,
and I probably would have gotten charmingly drunk with one of the blokes, and in that sort of slightly comical rich idiot sort of way, they'd have probably found my company amusing, and I guess I would have pressed them for what the details on the ship, probably specifically the anchor thing, and hoped that the libation meant that they weren't too suspicious. So I'd like to call that flashback, please.
Yeah, sure. I don't think there's any need to roll for this. Maybe just take me one stress.
Yep.
Yeah, you were indeed there. You were getting sort of lightly soused with the sailors. They were only too happy to talk about the ship. You had to hear the speech you just heard from the captain about how the ship was retrofitted. That's now the second time you've heard that, because they are so interested in the way that this ship was re-rigged to be changed from a Leviathan hunter into...
Were there any crucial vulnerabilities in the way the anchor was rigged up, is what I want to know, really.
I
wouldn't ask in as many words, I'd say...
You heard them complain about it, to be honest.
Interesting.
You heard them complain about IRONHOOK'S arrogance. This anchor, the unusual shape and design that it is, and studded with teeth. This isn't actually the best shape for an anchor. The best shape for an anchor is a much more traditional sort of anchor shape. That's why anchors are that shape, and they sort of had this whinge to you. They also whinge about how heavy it is, and that it takes on most ships you can sort of one person with a bit of mechanical assistance can kind of winch the anchor up into the into its housing in the boiler room. Most ships, the anchor kind of like goes up sort of and would sort of come to rest like on the prow, but this one actually comes up through a sort of a sluice gate in the very bottom, like below the waterline, which is quite clever. There's a little like sort of watertight chamber that kind of comes up through like there, so they kind of actually house it inside the ship. What else? You learn that the chain is good and strong. Yeah, it takes two people kind of working on this winch at the same time, and they have to be fairly strong to kind of get it to winch it up. You learn that unbeknownst to Darnell, the crew of the ship have actually installed a backup anchor because they have not a huge amount of faith in this one where a storm or the seas get rough. So they have in a cupboard down in the boiler room, they actually have like a different anchor, a more boring regular one,
but not connected.
Not connected, but it could be connected. If something were to happen to... If the anchor were to break, they could winch the chain up, replace it, drop anchor again, basically.
Interesting. Okay.
Also, Barnaby, in this quite now extended flashback, you were having...
It was a long night.
It was a long night. As well as sort of ship's crew, there was also a member of the gondoliers there. Now, the Gondoliers Guild is the group that operates the gondolas that run up and down the canals. And there was a gondolier in this party who was talking in quite aggressive and violent terms about Darnell Ironhook and a long-running rivalry that the Gondoliers Guild has with the Tripod whaling firm. Because, let's say, over... workers' rights. Darnell is a pretty big name in Volis ports. Sort of.
Am I going to have to hear about unions again?
Yep. Yes, you are. In Volis ports kind of ship writing scene. And yeah, so the gondoliers hate Darnell Ironhook, and this one was talking in his cups about. They said, "Oh, we should show him. We should go over to that. We should go to that show. We should ruin his party, show up on his boat, trash the place."
Well, I suspect I, in my drunken state, would have taken that guy aside and said, "You know what? That would be hilarious, actually. That would be really
would be
funny.
Hilarious, and it would be just what he deserves, old Ironhook." Yeah.
I don't do it right at the start of the party, though. I mean, I hear this thing's going on for a week, so maybe towards the end of the week, maybe... I think Tuesdays, they'll be starting to wrap up from there.
Midnight Tuesday. Tuesday.
I look forward to it. I look forward to the
crash the
fireworks.
party. We'll see you there, mate.
Yes, well, yeah, you will.
Cool. All right, end flashback. It's now 11:30 p.m., let's say. So you are both aware that in half an hour things are going to kick off massively as a big group of rowdy gondoliers show up and try and crash the party.
What havoc are the gondoliers planning to wreak? Can Lilith and Barnaby possibly steal Ironhook's priceless anchor from under his very ship? Find out tomorrow, right here on Outside Xtra.